OET, IELTS, PTE. Are you confused about which English exam to take? This video is going to help you answer that. So hello everybody and welcome to our latest video here at Swoosh English. My name is Scott and I'm an expert teacher at Swoosh English, and today we are going to look at a very common question that we get at Swoosh in regards to which English exam do I take? We have countless students come to us each day asking, is OET, IELTS or even PTE the best option for me? So it is quite a confusing topic in many ways because on paper, these exams look very, very similar, and they're going to allow you, of course, to work, study, or move abroad. So in today's video, we're going to look at some of the commonalities as well as differences between these three exams, such as exam duration, where you can take your test, where it's accepted, and what might even be your main reason for taking each of these exams, plus much, much more. So without further ado, let's get stuck into the video's lesson. All right, so on to OET versus IELTS versus PTE, which exam is for me? Let's start by comparing the formats of the three exams. First up is OET. So the OET test is divided into 4 sections: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Now, the reading, writing, and listening parts of the exam are typically done in one session. However, the speaking test can be done on a different day. So, for example, you do reading, writing, and listening in the morning, you can do speaking in the afternoon, or at a completely different on a completely different day, shall we say, in case it's a bit intense for you. So you can divide it up. How about IELTS? Well, IELTS, the format is incredibly similar in that you can do a reading, writing, and listening test on one day, and the speaking test can also be done on a different day too. PTE's format is a bit different in that there are 3 tests divided into 3 sections. So you have the reading, the listening test are separate, and then speaking and writing are combined together to make 3 different subtest sections. All tests, however, in the PTE exam are done in the same sitting. So you can't split the tests across times of the day or even different days. Now, let's move on to scoring. Firstly, having a look at OET. So in the OET exam, each subtest is scored out of a total of 500, and that is mapped to a letter score from A to E, with A being the highest and E being the lowest. There is, however, no overall score that is given for the OET exam. IELTS, on the other hand, is divided into a scaling system of 1 to 9, with 1 being the lowest and 9 being the highest, otherwise called band scores. You are also given an overall score out of 9, which is basically an aggregate of your other 4 subtest scores combined together, and then the average is given. PTE scoring uses something called the Global Scale of English, and each skill that is scored on a scale of 10 to 90, with an overall score of 90 being given, being essentially a band 9 score in IELTS or an A in OET. So your score is divided between 10 and 90 as a whole. How about who OET is for? Well, OET, the Occupational English Test, is designed for healthcare professionals wishing to work in an English-speaking country who prefer an exam with medical content, and that's what makes OET stand out. It is a healthcare specific exam. IELTS, on the other hand, is a more general test for candidates who want to take a comprehensive test of their English, which is widely accepted by institutions worldwide. So IELTS can be used for study abroad purposes, working abroad purposes, and migrate abroad purposes across the 2 different exams of IELTS General and IELTS Academic. PTE is for candidates ultimately who prefer a relatively short, entirely computer-based test. And like the IELTS exam, it can be taken for study abroad purposes, work abroad purposes, and even migrate abroad purposes too. Let's now have a look at the different exam durations for the three exams. Firstly, OET clocks in at about 3 hours in total for the entire exam. IELTS is slightly shorter at 2 hours and 45 minutes. PTE, on the other hand, though, is only 2 hours in comparison. How about how can the exam be taken? What differences are there? Well, OET can be taken on via paper, as in a paper based format, on computer, the computer based format, or even at home using OET's OET at home system. IELTS is the exact same. The test can be taken on paper at a test center, on computer at a test center, or even at home too. PTE has slightly less options given that it is purely a computer based exam. So there's no paper based version, but you can also take the exam at home too. How about the number of test centers that there are worldwide for these three exams? Well, OET, when making this video, has 270 plus test centers worldwide. IELTS has 1,300 plus test centers worldwide, and PTE has 400 plus test centers worldwide too. And of course, keep in mind that OET and PTE are rapidly expanding their test center bases worldwide, and IELTS continues to increase that too. So all three exams will be much more widely available as these three exams grow in scope, simply because of the increased demand for worldwide and worldwide healthcare professionals, worldwide study abroad professionals, and worldwide migration for non-native English speakers. How about how long until scores get released? Well, OET, we have to look at the two different kinds of tests. Computer is usually within 10 days, and the paper based version is 10 days plus, but usually it is around about the 10-day mark. So let's lock in 10 days. IELTS, on the other hand, is 3 to 5 days for the computer based test, and the paper based version, like OET, is 10 plus days, but usually around about the 10-day mark. PTE, on the other hand, has reportedly only 2 days for its test turnaround scores, and that is largely true. Sometimes tests can be received within 24 hours too. So PTE definitely has an advantage in this arena. How about how long is the test valid? AKA, once you've got your certificate of your score, how long is that valid before you have to retest for the purposes that you are using it? Well, all three exams in this case are the exact same. OET, IELTS, and PTE, you have 2 years to utilize your test score for working, migrating, or studying overseas. How about this unique way of looking at the exams? Do I have to speak to a human in the speaking exam? Well, with OET, yes, you do, because the speaking exam takes the format of medical role plays with the interlocutor. You play the medical professional, and the interlocutor plays the patient. So you do have to speak to someone. IELTS also involves speaking to a person, as the format is an interview with an examiner. So the examiner will interview you. PTE, on the other hand, though, is a no. There is no computer element when you're doing the exam. Everything is assessed by a computer. So for the PTE speaking test, you will be speaking into a microphone and following prompts on the screen. What about the remarking policy, aka what do the exams do whenever you want to do a remark? What are their policies? Well, with OET, you have within 72 hours of your results to claim a remark, so 3 days. And the remark results are typically available within 24 hours, so a very, very quick turnaround time. IELTS, you have 6 weeks of the test date to request a remark, so longer than that. But the remark results are typically slightly longer, usually within 2 to 21 days. And I know that is quite a large variety, but usually it is in the lower mark, but it can be as high as 21 days. So keep that in mind for when you might need those results. PTE, you are allowed to request a remark within 14 days of the test results. And the remark results are usually within 2 days. So IELTS, you had the longest amount of time to get a remark. OET, however, on the other hand, has the quickest remark results. Okay, guys, so there's some of the similarities and the differences in the three exams. Perhaps you've been thinking at this point, which exam do I take? And now you've got a clear idea about which one works best for you across all of these parameters. So let's now finalize this video by looking at three key reasons to take each exam. Let's wrap up this session now by having a look at some of the key reasons for choosing OET based on the information that has been presented. OET is the ideal choice if you are a medical professional because you are doing a medical themed exam and you feel ultimately more comfortable taking a healthcare specific exam because you enjoy the format of the exam and you feel like this is going to be genuinely more useful for you and your healthcare career. And as I said, this will be useful for you if you believe this exam will result in better communication in your healthcare workplace versus general English tests because everything is specified for a healthcare professional. The key reasons for choosing IELTS would be you want to take the most widely accepted test with over 1,300 test centers worldwide. You have the highest chance of being able to take an IELTS exam at a local test center than the other two exams. You also want the most convenient test taking options. Once again, the sheer variety of test taking centers there are nearby, plus the paper and at home versions. And you also want the most extensive access to test preparation solutions. That is purely because IELTS has been around for longer than the other two exams. So, therefore, there's a lot more test preparation options out there. However, OET and PTE are continuing to rapidly increase their test taking options. And of course, we at Swoosh English offer test preparation for all three exams. Now, the key reasons for choosing PTE would be you want to take a computer based test with no human interaction. Maybe you find the idea of speaking to a human to be quite nerve wracking and you would rather have the computer based approach. You want your results quickly, as PTE by far has the quickest turnaround of test results in as little as 2 days. And you also want your English test to be as short as possible. The PTE exam is only 2 hours versus 2 hours and 45 minutes for the IELTS exam and 3 hours for the OET exam. Okay, guys, so there you have it. The differences and commonalities between all three exams broken down, and I hope that you find this video useful. Over to you guys now. Let us know in the comments which exam you want to take now based on that information and why. So just a final reminder before we finish, guys, that we really hope that you can pass your IELTS or OET or PTE exam first time. And we at Swoosh English have been around for a long time and have helped thousands of students pass their OET, IELTS, and PTE exams with speed, certainty, and ease. Test preparation is really important to securing that test result, that passing test result, as quickly as possible. And we would love to help you on that journey. To find out more, just click on the button below that says www.swooshenglish.com. Come and check out our OET, IELTS, and PTE preparation resources. And we'd love to help you on your OET, IELTS, and PTE preparation journey. So don't forget, guys, you're all doing this exam for a reason. You're looking to move, work, or study abroad and fulfill your dream life. So make sure that you do the right thing for you, pick the right exam for you, get started with your test preparation, and get that exam pass in the bag as quickly and effortlessly as you can. So once again, I'm Scott from Swoosh English. Hope that you enjoyed this video. Make sure you're following us on our YouTube channel for access to all of the content and other special videos we'll be putting on our channel. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a great day.